City, Texas.
I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana.
I'm from Edison, New Jersey.
From Columbus, Ohio.
I'm Major Brian Blackburn. I'm from Fredericksburg, Virginia.
No. My parents were born in Rwanda and Congo, and there was obviously the genocide in '94 in Rwanda, and that's when they fled to Congo. That's where they lived most of their lives. And they moved back to Rwanda in '97 when I was born.
So both of my parents are immigrants, so it's just, in America, it's just me and my mom and my sister. When the recession hit, my family couldn't afford for me to stay in America, so we had moved to Taiwan with my mom's family.
Right? But my dad was a history teacher and a civics teacher in a predominantly black neighborhood, right? So Fredericksburg, the city itself, the dynamic shifts and flips right on its head. I went to school in Fredericksburg with my dad, right? So job opportunities were kind of mixed. You had the upper crust, is like what you'll see in most of the South, where folks have always had money and it gets passed on from one generation to the next. But you also have a lot of people, minorities, that are struggling to find work and have consistent work.
Like I said, most of my life I was in food stamp, even though both my parents worked, but they couldn't make. I wasn't as well off as the other students. I was in food stamp. I had free lunch and everything. So I felt out of place. I had to travel like 30 minutes to school every day. Rwanda, really small country. I really didn't have much there. So that's when I came here and didn't know how to speak English, obviously. So I had to overcome that obstacle. Really, I was perplexed with not being able to speak English with my other friends, but that's how it came out. So it's really irregular.
They're from, it's a K through 12 school, and just early on you recognize there's a barrier between you and everyone else, and then the teachers will treat you different, security treats you different, like you know that you're a minority.
Have you ever experienced any sorts of inequality, whether it be socioeconomic or any social inequalities?
No, I can't say that I have. I think it would be unfair, right? If I went through anything, it was because of my family, the family that I came from. I'm a white male, right? So social inequality for me is not something that I could ever claim.
My sister's 2 years older than me, and so she was taking U.S. history, and they were talking about West Point, and so she looked it up, and like she came to my mom and she told her that she wanted to go to West Point, and like at first it was like a joke, like I didn't even think that we were all going to be in the military, but no one really knew how we were going to go to college because we all knew we couldn't afford it. So yeah, my sister was really persistent about it, and I didn't attend West Point because of her, but she heavily influenced me because she brought me here and she like showed me a new perspective to the school. Yeah.
And I went to South High School, and at South High School I had a junior ROTC program. I started to apply for West Point during my junior year, and that's when I first opened my candidate file. I first heard about West Point my sophomore year. One of my junior ROTC instructors told me, hey, West Point will probably be a good fit for you. You should look into it. And so I began the research online. My family-wise, I come from a single-parent home, and I have one other sibling that was living at home with me at the time. She's only 10 years old, my little sister. And I saw how hard my mom works. So just last year in 2017, my mom made $22,000, like $22,000, and that's not very much for a single parent home. So we lived below the poverty line. We had food stamps, even though we didn't want to be on food stamps. It just sort of happens because you need the extra support because you have people to feed and people to take care of. My mom.
Yeah, I think I wish I had stopped excusing my behavior when I was a young man by saying it was because my family lacked a moral compass, or that I didn't have the morality in my life that a lot of other people did, right? So I made a lot of mistakes as a young person where if I were to look at myself in the mirror, like, I wasn't proud of who I was.
And I'm also still trying to pay off my student loans. So with that, yeah, I feel it really hard because I only get paid $250 a month, and yeah, it's not fun, like, living paycheck to paycheck and being here, because people when they see West Point cadets, they think they're squared away and like have everything under control, have no like family issues and have no personal issues, but like, family issues aside, like, I have a huge debt, just me myself, and it's sometimes frightening being here at West Point and not being able to fully pay off my bills.
Well, my mom was a doctor, and I felt like everybody thought that like we had money, or if there was like any events, they would ask us like, "Hey, like, since your family has money, you should like do this and that." And I feel like everybody judged me based on that, and I don't really like thinking of myself as like rich, and I like to like humble myself on what I have.
Yes, because the only money I have is the money I get from my paycheck, so I don't. I try not to go out.
I haven't been home since the summer. Luckily, my roommate lives in New Jersey, and I've been staying with his family for a while now.
But so is the Army. Right? What was the first institution or organization in our country to integrate races? It was the Army. We've always tended to be a little bit ahead of where we are socially in the country, right? And I think it's because we have a superordinate goal. Right? There's something larger at play than just our differences, so we tend to look past all of those things and realize that our lives are in each other's hands, or there's a mission that we must accomplish. And so it's a pretty nice place to be, right? So I think we have a responsibility here and in the military to serve as like a good example for the rest of our brothers and sisters that are not in the military, right? Who may be struggling with a lot of the identity politics in general, right? Whatever it may be that divides us. And try to remind people that we have a lot more in common. And if we do that, regardless of your socioeconomic class, I think you'll see that you have a lot more in common with the people that you think are so different than not.
Stratification, race, and inequality cause difficulty and extra monetary and social inequality to those of lower classes.
We realize that the lower the class, the more amount of inequality is expressed, and they experience more motivation to break their vicious life cycle.
Specifically at West Point, we must learn to realize that individuals come from different backgrounds, but not let it become an excuse for all the problems we have.
However, this does not mean that those of higher class don't experience their unique inequalities in their own ways.
Instead of categorizing each other by our differences as a procession, we must let our similarities unite us.
In the end, we all have the same goals of helping our country, people, and striving to be the best version of we can be. Yeah, that's it.